Welcome to The Explainer. Our whole goal here is to take these massive, complicated stories and turn them into something you can really see and understand.
So, how about this for a question? We're going to dive into a real-life mystery. We're talking about two ancient port cities. Now, they were separated by centuries, lived on totally different coastlines, but they are linked by something pretty dramatic. They were both suddenly, catastrophically wiped.
Our story really kicks off with two completely different puzzles. On one side, you've got this really weird layer of sand that just showed up in a single warehouse where it had no business being. And on the other, an entire legendary city, just gone, vanished for more than 1,000 years.
Okay, let's break it down. First up, we've got the Roman port of Caesarea over in Israel. Archaeologists there were digging and found something, well, something that was totally out of place. And then you have the mythic Egyptian city of Thonis Heracleion. I mean, this place was basically a ghost story, just a name in old texts, until, it was actually found.
Let's dig in and see how investigators first tackled these ancient cold cases.
So picture this. At Caesarea, archaeologists are digging inside this old 8th century warehouse, and they hit this thick, strange layer of sand. It was just packed with huge collapsed building stones. And get this, it was sitting right on top of a floor that was clearly scorched by a massive fire. I mean, talk about a bizarre discovery.
At the same time, over in Egypt's Abu Qir Bay, a whole different kind of search was happening. Underwater archaeologist Frank Gaudio and his team, they were using all this high-tech gear, advanced sonar, magnetometers. And after 5 years, they finally found it, the real Heracleion, a city that had literally just sunk and vanished off the map.
Okay, so you've got these clues, but how do you actually turn a bunch of sand and mud into cold, hard evidence? Well, this is where the real detective work kicks in.
It's a field called geoarchaeology. And think of it like this. It's basically CSI for the Earth. This science is a total game changer. It lets us treat the ground itself like a key witness, one that can tell us exactly what went down.
Now take a look at this. This chart shows data from a core sample they drilled at Caesarea. I know, it looks super complicated, right? But buried in all that data are 3 absolutely crucial clues that crack the case wide open.
All right, clue number 1, teeny tiny fossils. This weird sand layer, it was absolutely packed with these microscopic marine fossils. They're called foraminifera. We're talking over 1,000 of them in a single cubic centimeter. That's way more than you'd find in the normal soil. The verdict was clear. This sand came from the sea.
Okay, on to clue number 2, the timing. This is so clever. By dating the charcoal below the sand and looking at the artifacts they found above it, the team could sandwich the event in time. They pinpointed the disaster to the mid-8th century. And what do you know? That's a perfect match for a massive earthquake that we know happened in 749 CE. It's all clicking into place. And this really shows you just how powerful this process is. You collect the core samples, you analyze what they're made of, you figure out where it all came from by looking at the fossils, and boom, just like that, a centuries-old disaster suddenly has a precise date and a clear cause.
So with all this evidence in hand, we can actually start to piece together the final violent moments of these two cities. It's like a play-by-play of the apocalypse.
For Caesarea, it was this horrifying 3-act tragedy that happened incredibly fast. First, the 749 CE earthquake hits. The ground shakes, the warehouse roof collapses. Then, Act 2, fire. The rubble spreads a fire that scorches the walls. And finally, the tsunami. A massive wave, triggered by the quake, surges into the harbor and buries the entire ruin in sand.
Now, Heracleion's end was different, but just as terrifying. Here, an earthquake triggered something called soil liquefaction. And this is the stuff of nightmares. It's when solid ground suddenly turns into a liquid, like quicksand, and the buildings just collapsed and sank into the water. The city was basically swallowed whole.
I mean, the sheer power of these events is just hard to wrap your head around. At Caesarea, you can actually see it. The tsunami wave was so unbelievably powerful that it ripped massive stones from the building's south wall, carried them into the warehouse, and just left them hanging there, suspended in the sand. Just incredible.
Okay, so the disasters happened. But what happened next is maybe the most crucial part of the story, because after the dust and the water settled, the tales of our two cities go in completely different directions.
In Caesarea, the survivors showed this incredible resilience. They didn't even try to dig out the ruins. Instead, they just used that thick tsunami sand as the foundation for a brand new neighborhood built right on top. But for Thonis Heraclean, there was no recovery, no rebuilding. There was only oblivion. The city was completely abandoned, and its memory just faded into myth for over 1,200 years. It's kind of wild when you think about it. For Caesarea, the very disaster that destroyed their city became the literal foundation for its future. The destruction actually gave them a blank slate to build a new town center.
But the story of Thonis Heracleon is, well, it's far from over. Get this, after 2 decades of work, archaeologists figure they've only explored about 5% of the submerged city. Just 5%.
And that just leaves you wondering, right? If all this, the lost temples, the sunken ships, the gold treasures, if that's what we found in just 5%, what other incredible secrets are the other 95% still hiding, just waiting to be discovered beneath the waves?